Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow guests. Love transcends all space and time. Some say love is nature's way of tricking us into reproducing. In tennis, it's the most beautiful way of saying, you're losing, bro. To me, love is the epitome of happiness. When you have your favorite ice cream, or you're cutting into your favorite piece of steak, once you put it in your mouth, you're not saying, I'm happy to be eating this. No, you're saying, man, I love this. So in my definition, let's do 3 things better with love. Let's love ourselves more. Let's love each other more. Let's love what we do more. So in loving yourself, Dr. Seuss writes, you are youer than you. You are you. That's truer than true. There's no one alive that's more youer than you. When I was younger, when dinosaurs roamed the earth and pagers were a thing, right? I was the adolescent kid trying to fit in. But I was kind of like that rogue friend. You know, sometimes you'll catch me over here at the Planters, chewing the fat with the fellas. Or sometimes you might catch me on another day over here on the blacktop, catching a game of basketball, or 2 games of basketball. And on other days, you might find me tucked away in the library, just trying to get ahead of the game, by myself, chilling out. But some of my friends, they called me out on it. Oh, Ron, you're about to go kick it with your blah blah friends, huh? Or, oh, guess who decides to come and kick it now, right? That kind of made me feel uneasy, made me feel uncomfortable, and caused me an anxiety. But as I grew older, I learned to embrace my gregarious personality. It opened new doors for me. It brought me to newer people, like you. More people that I could call family, more people that I could love more. I found not to be afraid of being different, but to be afraid of being like everybody else. I learned to love myself first, not in a conceited way, but in more of like a comfortability way. I learned to be comfortable in my own skin. I learned to be comfortable wearing my own shoes. Love yourself. That's the basic foundation of love. Without it, you can't give it. But when you have it, you can love someone else. Mother Teresa says, people who love each other fully and truly are the happiest people in the world. And I agree with that. I love my wife. I've loved her for over 20 years. As a matter of fact, next week, on the 7th, she'll kill me if I don't remember that. On the 7th, it'll be our 14th wedding anniversary. I thought I knew love's limits when I found her. But when I had my kids, my understanding for love reached new levels. My concern for the good of these 3 little, beautiful knuckleheads did something to me. It pushed me. It motivated me to be a better person, to be a better man. At the same time, I was working at the Boys and Girls Club, and back then we taught kids, or we had kids that were ages 6 to 18, and some of those kids came from single-parent households, or didn't have parents to begin with, their foster kids. And after working with them for a couple of years, my name went from Mr. Ron to Uncle Ron. And some people even said, Dad, which was a big honor for me to wear that badge when their biological couldn't wear it. Now, some of those kids that we served, they're now grown up, leading and living better lives, and some have stumbled and have taken perceived shortcuts which have led to elongated detours. But that's love. Loving someone with all your heart, to want to give them all your knowledge. But here's the kicker. Now you're trusting them. Trusting them to make the right decisions when it's time for them to change. Love is hard. Love is tough. But let's learn to love each other so we can love one another. Next, we have to learn to love what we do. Right? Don't let the insecurities, the fear of insecurities, cause you to not try different things. Right? We grow the most when we're uncomfortable. Sorry. As director of operations, I used to tell all the kids, and I still tell them to this day when I see them, you can be whatever you want. And one of the days, one of my favorite kids asked me, Ron, Mr. Ron, is this what you want it to be? And I had to say no. Even though I felt like I was doing God's work and I loved what I did, it's not what I wanted to be. I wanted to sell shoes. So I researched, got the licenses, and was able to open up my own business. Back in October 2007, now 11 years later, I still have that shop. So don't be afraid to love what you do. Steve Jobs said, I look at the mirror every morning and I ask myself, if I'm going to, if I look in the mirror every morning and ask myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. So let's fall in love. Fall in love all over again. Let's fall in love in order to fall in love with each other. Not only our neighbors, whose walls are separated by cubicles, but by those imaginary boundaries that try to dictate the differences between us. Because in the end, all you need is love. Thank you.